so we have it
That's
for
fine.
later on. One thing that I want to say, just casually, on that scenario, believe it or not, you want actually like better food than Taco Bell. I know, like, we know,
I mean,
we're all gamers, but good
Yeah.
hydration, good sleep, good food is super important. So don't under-evaluate that. So let's go for
Right.
first to 5. Nice backdash to avoid the what's it called, the trip. That's fine.
Duel 2. Let's rock.
Alright. Nice. Good one.
I tried to correct my guard.
Okay.
Oh, first bait.
Ooh, ouch. Big dynamic change. Oh shit! Good one.
I
Cannot
tried
do
to do
that.
it backwards one.
Oh, I messed up, but I was still able to correct it.
So what did you mean by can't do that? Because the idea that I had there was try to do like a twirl up to you and then RC backwards to see if you'd like press a button on me.
Oh, if you
But
were
there I
doing,
just got
if you were trying to drift back, yeah, for sure. What I meant is, if you come to PRC and then try to press a button, my throw is faster. It's a 2-frame.
Right.
So even in the chance where you want to press, say, a jab, if the jab isn't meaty already, you will lose that interaction. That's what I meant.
Okay.
Nice interruption there.
Slap. Duel 2. Let's rock.
Good one. Yes. That's why I did it. Okay, one. Too aggressive there.
I knew it was coming, I just didn't know when.
You were doing good. Like, the double block is already pretty impressive.
Ah, too quick.
No, I fuzz it.
Danger.
Oof.
Negative penalty.
Ooh.
I remember that
No,
from
I
our
could have
last
killed
session.
there. I could have killed it. Oh, messed up.
You're airborne whenever you do that. I always forget that.
Yeah.
So I need to find a different answer there.
Yeah. On the block thing, after the reset, I basically fuzzed due to the block stun. Since I was in
Okay.
block stun from the RRC, PRC, I don't remember which one you used, you cannot throw me. Like you have to delay the throw. So I'm like, okay, the low will come first because I am stuck in
Okay.
blocks then. So yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
Let's rock.
Also on Wake Up there's a 5 frames protection which you can use to basically like motivate how to approach mix up. Good one. Ah, good one. Very smart.
The low profile worked against me there.
Remember you have air throws.
I had the idea, I was just too slow. Like, by the time I realized that it was an option, it was just kind of out of my
Yeah,
head.
good enough. No.
Danger.
Ooh! What a toe! What a toe!
We were both a pixel.
Uh-huh.
Let's rock.
Good! Good block. Good. Good one. No! Nice block on the low. Very good adaptation.
I went for the 6P, but I think what happened was I did it in a quarter circle motion, so it read it as Shitsu.
Yeah, fair enough.
Let's rock.
No time for butterflies there.
Yep.
Really? Again? Smart. Yeah, he caught me mashing through like 3 times. Now all the mirrors there.
This could be very bad for me. Let's see what happens.
No, okay. I'll take not being dead, to be honest.
Danger.
Oh wow! They OTG'd. Very good.
I'm not getting dolphined as much this time around, so you know, it
Yeah.
can't be that bad.
Yeah. And it's because you're using the twirl smartly. I cannot dolphin at mid-range if, you know, it's gonna be
Duel
absorbed.
1. Let's rock.
But I'm adapting with running throws.
So I could have bursted there, but I feel like it's just better to leave it for the next one.
Yeah.
Because
Win. Duel.
it's just not worth the trouble.
Yeah, it's understandable, especially like you have to consider things such as meter differential as well. I really need to start punishing that. I owe it to you as a coach to punish you there.
Right?
Oh, didn't have the charge. I forget you can do that. No. That is a wrong choice. I don't want to, like, you know, what's it called? Make you feel bad for it, but I want you to learn. You have meter. Go with a sort of true block string into the low, and then take it from there. Because everything else is a risk, right? Unless you're going for a fake overhead, PRCing, expecting me to do something unsafe, and then capitalizing on that. But take the easier route first. We'll analyze that. Late. Early, better than late.
I thought I'd stop myself just out of range.
Keep forgetting that. Yeah, that's good. Good one. There we go. That's how I adapt to it. Oh, wow. I didn't see that you didn't have meter. What an interruption. Yeah, tripped.
Slap. Duel 2. Let's rock.
Oh, that is a okay.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah, use the meter rather than trying the just, because the just doesn't really change that much, right? Even if I am -5 but closer to you, unless I'm as close as a grab, you're not gonna get any reward from it. Whether with FD you could have survived. You had a lot of meter to spend.
There, I was just trying to rip out the reversal super. So that, I mean, that was just
okay.
So the just guard was more of a luck thing.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. No worries. Woo! Yes. Too far though for the Fujin to keep it real. Oh, nice stuff. Nice stuff again.
I thought I did
Good try, good try.
the dash.
If I had done the dolphin, I would have come in, you know.
Right.
Ouch. See how much you can survive with the FD if you like tap it.
Right.
Duel 2. Let's rock.
Nice. Yes, -7. Fog punish.
Oh, you grabbed me out of the food.
Yeah. 4 in a row, it was like a little bit like, okay, they're desperate. Okay, that was 5?
Oh, that was fun. Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna go and.
Well,
do you want to analyze
ahead.
this match first? Or do you want to take like a few minutes and we analyze like Maka stuff and other Fujin? Not Fujins, Engis.
I think doing it now while it's sort of like fresh in our heads is
Yeah.
a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go.
I mean, I'll note that if
Uh-huh.
nothing else, I won one more this time than I did. Like last time,
Oh,
I think
you
I
did
went 0 and
way
9, and I went
better.
1 and 5. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I can't complain there.
Yeah, no, you did way better. I had to use like some more advanced concepts for sure, such as prioritizing mix-up routes, adapting with the running throws, all that stuff. Even your pressure was tighter. So I'm gonna stream to you so you can see my end of the replay because I think it's the easiest way. So screen 1. Let me know if you see it. I'll pull Epic Pen out. So that it's easier.
Yep, it looks fine.
Cool. And let me see. And can you see the pen now?
Yep, it looks fine.
Cool.
There's like a little weird box that was showing up, but I think that was you moving the toolbar.
Yeah. It's when the what's it called? When the window becomes inactive, that's when you cannot see it for a minute, like for a few seconds. Okay, so collection replays.
One thing I will definitely say, and this isn't just against you or against aggressive character thing.
Yeah.
If somebody just runs up and throws me in neutral, I'm free to it every time. Like I will get hit every time.
It takes a while. It's especially strong with Mei because Mei kinda has a 50-50 with it. I'll explain it once we're looking at this, but yeah, it's not a real 50-50, but it can be scary, especially with meter. With meter, it kinda becomes a real 50-50.
Right.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
1 sec. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So minus, you take a jump. Yeah. So one thing that you want to understand, especially against characters that function like Mei with strong horizontal options, is that the Totsugeki is sort of a safe-ish poke at range, right? And then whatever happens from it is sort of like bonus. But overall, it's just an annoying tool to poke at range. Instead of taking this route, which if I am backdashing, it just opening you up to either a trip or an upward dolphin, or something like a jump into forward dash into air throw. I'm not saying that you should do this every time, because of course you don't want to give up ground all the time, but preemptively jumping back and then coming down with a button here will place you over the dolphin, right? And will allow you to either dismantle me from the dolphin, or depending on the recovery, even full combo me from it, right? This is something I do in the mirror as well. I place myself at distance and I play passive to lure the opponent in thinking, oh, okay, they're just gonna block my poke, it's gonna be free, and then jump in there. Because if you're sitting at this distance, this area is riskless, right? The only thing that can happen is an upward dolphin, which you can absolutely block on reaction. So yeah, this is like just a little bit more on preemptive versus prediction. Sorry, reaction. Preemptive versus reaction. Okay, that's plus. Okay, there on the FK. That FK, the far drop kick thing, is -5 on block, and the cancel into the run will still retain that. However, a lot of people don't want to press buttons there, understandably, because there is a cancel into the medium dolphin, right?
Right.
But this cancel here, at most range, is not true. It's a fake cancel. You can either 6D, of course, they're like big ranges, not when you're close, like when the FK is close. But you can 6P, you can parry if you have meter, right, between the gap. Of course, assuming that is coming. If you have a reversal like a DP, you would be able to do it too. I wouldn't jump, but sometimes you can also jump back. But it's a bit more risky because it's a bit hard to gauge the distance between the FK and that. So what happens is, if you, especially at full range, if you allow her to get a full run in and then either grab you or something like 2K, 2D, and slide are all options that she can take from there, right? And she has no business taking them because she's minus, so you want to press buttons. The only thing is understanding if she's going to cancel into Dolphin or not. But once again, if you gauge the distance, that Dolphin cancel will not be true. So that's kind of what you have to understand. However, this dynamic is much more oppressive if she does it from the close 5S. Because from the close 5S, that is when she's +3. And that is when you actually have to take the sort of the mix-up, right? In a situation with Mirror, where she does this, whether it's from close 5S or a 5K that you didn't challenge, this is extremely important. Because if she does a Mirror, slide is her far low opener. Standing D, the fast version, it's still 20 frames, but yeah, 5D into RRC is her standing overhead. If she's closer, she can do 6K, which is the other standing overhead, the cartwheel kick. And also she has a grab at 2 frame and common grab at 6 frames. And you'd be like, why do I have to like know that there's also a common grab at 6 frames if the normal grab is already there and it's faster? Because this one will have grab invincibility from 1 frame to 5, if I remember correctly. 1 to 5 is grab invincibility. So if I come to you and start to oppress you, and you're trying to anticipate my throw or tech my throw, this will hit you if I, time it right. So there's a lot going on here, right? But all of this is enabled by either the 5K that people are not challenging if it's cancelled from far away, or from the 3K. But the 3K has short range, so it can only be enabled by a JHS, which is the big swinging anchor move that you see me use a lot. That you need to 6P it, because it allows so much stuff for me. Everything clear? A little bit of a complicated explanation, but it's a really important mix-up for me.
Right, so the main thing will just sort of be identifying what each move is. Like, when you say 3K, I have an idea of which move the slide looks like.
Yeah?
The 6K, the overhead, I mean, I've been hit by it enough to where I have a general idea of what it looks like. It will be more sort of looking at it over and over again by either fighting different maze or just even looking at looking at it in the training room to actually solidify the ideas.
For sure. But the main concept that you want to take from there, that kind of all of that doesn't matter if you challenge the 5K that is paced badly, the drop kick, into the Dolphin, right? If you break that sort of string, or if you anti-air the JHS. These are the pressure tools that you'll need to challenge, and we can look at that in training mode. Anyway, let's go.
Right.
Yeah, and there's a slide. He has a big problem. Like, this character has a big problem because the air to grounds are not deep enough most of the time to prevent this. So whenever it goes into the air, you don't want to go into the air at a range where I am standing far away, because unless you take an air dash and then I can take a back dash, right, to reset my position, this will be coming. It's free. And if I have meter, that is a full conversion. She gets RRC from it.
Okay. That would be the 6K that you just did?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. As you can see, the 6K lacks a little bit in range. but at the same speed I have the 6D, which is the dust without the charge. That will also open you up for as a standing overhead for RRC.
And so, could we pause it real quick?
Yeah, sure.
So there, when with the previous pause, you paused where I was like up and to the right in the air, and then I was like moving forward with something, and then I moved back with a backdash. And I think that sort of goes back to your you mentioned previously that I was trying to take too much space at once. Like you said, I was being overly aggressive in one of the rounds.
Yeah.
And so that kind of goes back to previous fighting games where when I'm like kind of sound minded, I can say, okay, well, I'm taking some amount of space, but I also have to in turn concede some of that space because if I try to take all of it at once, I just put myself in a worse position.
Okay.
So is it wrong to backdash there to sort of not necessarily reset, but sort of create more space because I'm going forward, which makes you want to move back. So when I move back, it creates a larger gap for me to have more room to work with.
Okay. One thing that you want to know about sort of like getting or giving and getting space, it's the dynamic that is related. Fuck this like Spotify thing. Why? Oh my god. Okay. How do I close it? Okay, no, is it dying? It's in the way. Sorry, I'll move it here. It's not ideal, but hopefully it will disappear soon. Anyway, so I was saying, one thing that you have to, yes, there you go, that you have to understand for this dynamic is this part of the screen is central, the time, right? There would be a much different dynamic at 5 seconds in terms of getting and giving space than there is at 72, right? Which means that this resource has to be used. A lot of people are scared to use this resource because they're gonna be called lame, right? Which I don't give a fuck about. Like, you've come to the best person to, you know, shake off this stigma. Giving space and taking space is highly related to time as a resource, because how do I explain this? When you've taken a big conversion and you have the life lead, the dynamic of who has to chase and who doesn't have to chase will change. Of course, there is like differences between characters. Some characters will have a really bad defense, so they want to be on top of you because of that. But in general, this has to be considered much more in how you approach spaces and how you take them. When you say, is it wrong for me to give it space? No, not really. But in a situation where, for example, you're close to dying, this also makes a difference. Is this full? Oh fuck, just like block as much as you want in like, you know, with sense, because FD will be there to help you and survive much more. So you can take your approaches more easily if, you know, the time is 72 and your bar is full. On a general sense, there isn't like a cut and dry answer to that. The space, the only reason that you have to reassess space is not thinking, oh, how much space am I giving them or how much space am I taking? Is which one is the ideal space for me to make my options strong? If I jump from here, JHS, which is a great freaking normal to jump in with, would be reactable with 6p, right? But if I do it here, the situation changes. So the space that I would need to grab is related to this dynamic, right? To enforce the better ranges. If by, I don't know, say there, right? I came to you and you backdashed in the air, right? And you cornered yourself and the dolphin is coming. If that cornering yourself is because you're trying to bait a dolphin with a super parry, so be it. Fantastic choice, right? Everything is very complex in fighting games, unfortunately. It's fun, don't get me wrong, but very complex. So I would like you to think more in this term rather than is there a time that I have to go in or is there a time that I have to backdash? It's all related to resource management. It's all related to character archetypes. It's all related to baits. It's all related to opponent's habits and so on. Does that answer your question?
I mean, there, like you said, there is no perfect, like, cut and dry answer for it. So, I don't want you to think that I'm asking you for, like, top 10 secret tricks that wouldn't, like, I'm not looking for that. But even something as, okay, well, I took space, I gave up space, when I'm cornered at, like, that range, was it a good idea? But I agree that there's a lot more to consider there than just how far away from you I am.
Yeah, because, like, if you come forward, right, and nothing has happened, because, like, we'll go back to actually the start of the round, because I have lost a little bit to the situation, so please let me know. Yeah, see that 3K. Yeah, but the 3K was amazing. Sorry, that backdash was amazing. Because there was no other way for you, well, maybe forward, right? Either forward or backwards, not to fall into my 3K. So that is an amazing backdash. Like, 10 out of 10 backdash in the air. Right? It makes sense. Because you're open to a trip, for example.
And that, I think after this throw is when the second backdash happens. So I burst. This happens.
3K.
I can't backdash there because I picked a button.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yes, this is a good backdash. Do you know why? Because in a situation where here you blocked and you push back, and I push back, what does happen? The up dolphin has a long startup, right? And I'm safe. You know what that means? That for all that startup, I am charging. Which means that most likely another dolphin will be coming. If the medium dolphin comes here, which is usually what I do because it's fast and hard to react to, the medium dolphin will stop here, will not hit you, and you'll be able to punish it. So in this situation, yeah, that backdash is amazing if you're predicting that option, right?
Okay. So in that case, that's a bit of a spatial awareness thing. That 2S was just supposed to be a twirl.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
And it was just a misinput.
That's fine. No worries. See how I reset range all the time? Because I want you not to have anything to go on when you try and pick up my habits, right? Of course, like, the habit would be, oh, the backdash is there. So at some point, that would be probably you run in and throw me or something. But this shifting in ranges and am I going to the passive phase? Am I going to the offensive phase? I think we talked together about range 0, range 1, and so on, right? I think, yeah. So at this moment, I'm going reactive because I have so much resources to use. So many resources to use. Everything, like, right now is playing to my advantage. So I don't have to take risks. Even like here, why would I give you anything? Like, it's even more important for me to not to take risks. So that's why, like, you shift in ranges, because you get to command the range, right? At this range, if you don't come in, I can just ball for free. Will you? Are you going to, for example, twirl the ball? I can just go back and do it again. So you have to do it more. The meter will be building. The next time I ball and you twirl, I will PRC and grab you. Like, there's a lot of, like, unfortunately, well, fortunately, I would say, personally, I would say fighting games. There's a lot of dynamics that are complex. It's like playing chess, right? Where everything has a consequence. So, good one. Yes, you enforce that throw because you're like, whatever button you press, unless you take those few frames of recovery, you're just gonna land into nothing because you're scared about being punished. So yeah, good one. Keep it in an airtight. Very important here, especially due to how far you are, right? If you initiate the same mix-up instead of being here, right, for whatever reason you are closer and the butterfly hits at the same time, your 2D will be enabled, like 2K 2D as a low, right? Or you could even, I don't know, jump and then backdash to try and get me from this side. There's a lot of stuff. But I recognize that you started from here. So the only thing that you can do is to keep it there tight. Unless you want me to, like, either backdash away or jump away or jump away and then come into you. So that is a good choice in my opinion. Yes. Very good. Unfortunately, you weren't able to pick up. That's fine.
And I think that was the counter flash confusing me, because usually it's usually the idea there would be, okay, well, I can go for, I think there was a meaty close slash, and from there I have the option of frame trapping with 2H, which was the ideal there.
But you weren't ready for me to be hit. That's fine. That happens.
Right. So that's just an issue with the hit confirms just not being there yet, but that comes with time.
That's
so
fine.
I don't think there's any particular note about that one.
Yeah, no worries. So see, that one is not true. Like, you can mash 2P there, for example, because I was so far away from the 5k.
Right.
That one has 28 startup, -5, 33 frames of gap. So you can practice to actually blow it up. You can even full combo me from it, but you have to be ready. So keep that in mind. 5k into standing D charge, 5D charge, has a 33 frame gap. So it's not real.
Right.
That I was trying to bait you for the burst.
Right.
Messed up. See? Now I have to spend meter there, because if I don't, I will be punished for it, right? That slide, especially that close, is punishable. But that's why I went extra aggressive, because I have a meter to cover my ass in case I mess up. Good one. Good one. Incredible read.
And could we actually pause it for a moment?
Yeah?
So there, I wasn't actually expecting that to wall break. I thought it would I thought it would just sort of hover you for a bit and then knock you down in the corner. I was going to use, since I got the extra meter from burst, I was going to red RC it and try to convert that into a kill. But then the wall broke and I was just kind of confused.
Yeah, no, that is fine. Like, I get all of the dynamic. I will double check this. I'm not 100% sure, but I want to say that every raw super that goes into the corner will wall break. But I'm not 100% sure. I will have to double check this. So if you do a combo into a super, then I think it's somehow the dynamic is different. But we'll double check that. So I'll put it in the notes. Double check if all if all raw supers will break.
And so from this position, because I wasn't expecting it to wall break, I don't think I did any sort of run up.
That's fine.
Oki, because it was just kind of we're here now, okay.
Yeah, but since we're here, I get it that you weren't ready. That's fine, absolutely no problem. But what I would say to you, that from there you either take the what's it called? So there's one big difference, right? If this meter is full, you want to take the high route because you can safe jump. Much easier if you practice, specific safe jumps in specific situations, to take a safe jump on a super than to try and meaty with something with, like, very few active frames and very little recovery, right? Such as a jab. Oh, I have to meaty a jab not to get bucked by the orca. If you safe jump it, it's much easier to get that option out.
And then, do all characters get a universal safe jump from this position, or is that
I would say so. I would say so, because a super breaking the wall gives you a plus 36 advantage.
Okay.
So plus 36 should be enough to safe jump pretty much anything in the game. The only character I would be a little bit scared about safe jumping in this specific situation is actually him with meter, because of the parry.
Sure.
So only that. But I'm trying to think other. I don't think anybody else has a parry like that, right? Where they can wake up with super parry.
I don't believe so.
Okay, but yeah, we can check that. But okay, let's go on. There, this is the situation. You were saying, oh, I'm trying to PRC drift back. That would have worked wonders, but unfortunately that's not what happened. That's why I was saying your you need to take the throw there because it's the fastest option and nobody has advantage and we're all like close.
Right. And that was just, I've never practiced it, so I'll try it in the match, and if it works out, great. And if not, you know, at least I know I can go and lab it and get it to work.
That's fine. For the PRC drifts or any RC drifts, do you have the macro dash button set?
I do.
Okay,
I do.
cool. Just to check because it makes it much easier. Yeah. One thing about that specific situation, well, I'll actually skip very quickly to go back to it because I think it's important for your learning. Replay again. Last round.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Skip.
Duel 2. Let's rock.
Okay, so fast forward. Okay. Counter. Okay, so there you get that. Okay, here. So not fast forwarding anymore. Actually, slow it down. I'll be. There we go. Sorry about the noise. Here, right? There is one giant difference. Giant thing that you need to keep in mind. I am too far at this range. It's a bit hard to see. But not only am I too far for the 6K, right? Which will most probably not hit there. Which is the cartwheel kick, which is the overhead. Look at my meter. I have no way there to go for any of the low options and still kill you, right? Because I have no extension from the low. So most likely I will be going for a standing high because unless I have meter, if I do something like 2K into 3K for the double low, 3K for the double low, unless I have meter, I cannot make it safe. If you block, I'm dead, right? If I do 2K into 2D, let me quickly look at the frame data because I don't know the frame data of my own 2D. So Strive may dust loop 2D. Yeah, -7. I don't know if you have anything, but -7 for many characters is not safe. So I will be in a position where if I want to be safe, I kinda have to take the standing eye, which is the 5D from this range, because 6K from here will whiff, and the lows are unsafe. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So once you have this knowledge, this is like how a lot of high-level players assess what can come, right? It's a game of exclusion and awareness. It takes a while to build all of this like sort of experience and understanding and filter all of this in a high stakes situation, but it's doable. So that is something that you can do. Don't worry with practice.
So I suppose on that note, so you have the situation where, let's say, I choose to block high because the 2K, 2D, 2K, 3K, whatever, you don't get much out of it. So up until kind of this point where you explained that to me, I didn't really know if you did get anything out of it other than like an off-the-ground hit. Because, sometimes you run into characters like Soul, where he has a 3-frame kick and gets a third of your health and full wall carry. But then you tell me, oh, well, this move, while it is a low, or I could double low you, I don't get as much out of it.
Yeah, no, she
and
doesn't.
And then on the same turn, it's like, well, even if I predict that you can't get much out of it, there's still the threat of the quick dolphin afterwards.
After the 2K, you mean?
After like the 2K or 3K.
Yeah.
Are you able to do the dolphin after those?
Yes, I am. So there is that. But if you are sort of reasoning in that scenario, then you would just take the block, right? You take like either 2K into 2D. That is a double low block, right? Or you take the 2K into the dolphin there is also a double low block, meaning the dolphin is not over it, right? So in that situation, I would be -5 because I'm not taking the slow dolphin from the 2k at that range because it takes way too long to start. You can react, you can mesh like parry through, you can 6p, you can do a lot of that stuff. So regardless if I go for this or if I go for that, for you it kind of doesn't change much if you commit to taking the block, because the frame advantage will be on you in both sides. Like you will have frame advantage in both scenarios. And on a standing 5D, which is the overhead that you got hit by, the non-charge version, I want to say, is -10, and I think the charge version is -15. So let me double check that. 5D, yeah, -15, -10. I think it's the other way around. So the non-charge version is -15, the charge version is -10, even though it doesn't make much sense to me. But yeah, that's the thing. So especially without meter, I think you might have some punishes from both. We would have to look at your frame data. So actually, let's look at that. So the next
I know that
sorry.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, I know a very simple punish would be a 2k 2D, because his 2k is around frame, I believe 7, maybe 6. So that would just give a hard knockdown into a butterfly situation, which wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, no, not at all.
As far as like optimizing that punish, that's something that we can kind of just figure out at any point.
Yeah,
but
yeah, for sure. But the only thing that I want you to think of is, does that 2k though reach the 5D range? So you would have to look into that, because frame data, sure, the 2k might work frame data wise, right? -10,
sure.
-7, -8, whatever. But then you'd have to consider range as well. So we'll go on.
Mankind. Duel 1. Let's rock.
Okay. From the... Yeah, I don't think it's through, but it's kind of hard. Yeah, that! See? Exhibit A. You can interrupt it. And depending on the button that you use, I don't know about 2P. Probably even 2P. You might even stop the dolphin there, right? At that specific extension of the dropkick. 2P, 5P, 6P, all of them may work. So we will check that. So check 2P, 5P, 6P challenges on 5K into dolphin max range. So we will have that. Nice. Yeah, with punish. Yeah, on hit that changes, of course. So on hit it's not like -33 anymore. Sorry, 33 frame gap anymore. On hit it will be... Oh, we'll have to check that, but it's kind of different, of course. I should have converted there, could have killed you. So one thing that I see, right, in general, I'll pause, is that you are trying to be very aggressive, but unfortunately you're being a little bit outmaneuvered in neutral, right? Because I sort of know where I have to be to shut you down and to sort of minimize your options. However, the more I take the repositioning to make my options better and your options a little bit worse, the more you are in a position not to take the option and just take the ground. This is when it matters to take ground, quote unquote, passively, right? Because I play this style personally where I will always run and be defensive, be, lame, reactive, and so on. But I'm also very aware that I can only do this until my opponent is more patient than me and will be like, okay, you are backdashing every time I move forward. Eventually there's a corner, right? And that's what I need to go forward. And that's what we can reverse and play the same thing once you have the knowledge. Of course, you're learning, so it's going to be hard. I'm just planting that idea to you that not every time you're in range for something, you need to be doing something, because some are optimal ranges, some are not, right? The optimal range, for example, for your Fujin against me, that I know that I can, delay, block the low, and then go high, most likely will be at max range. Because as you've seen, the furthest this low is from me, the more troubles I have punishing it, even though it's punishable, right? So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because, like, right now, I'm basically, like, luring you in most of the time. Now you're doing it. You caught me. So, good conversion. Yeah.
So, let's pause there, actually.
Yeah?
So, I'm not terribly familiar with the whole, like, guard crush mechanic, like where the little button pops up. I understand how it works, like on the fundamental level of you press a button when the bar ends and it lowers the stagger. It's similar to I think Potemkin's, I think it's called Garuda Impact, the underfist with fire. So there, I wasn't ready for the grab because I figured, okay, well I got hit. I'm in hit stun. I assume that works the same as block stun as far as how grabs are concerned.
Yes. And that's
so.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, you go on.
Go ahead. No, that was pretty much it. It's just, okay, well, if that thought process is correct, I don't have to worry so much about the throw coming. I need to be ready for the high-low mix-up or the...
okay, like, I'll explain what's going on there. I'll explain what's going on there. Now, this is one of those times where I turn my personal weakness into a strength, right? What happens is, if I get the dolphin to stagger you, and you don't press a button to reduce the stagger, I get a full run in close S, right? Close 5S, 2H, into up dolphin, the usual conversion, right? Max conversion, whatever it is.
Right.
However, I am absolutely terrible at reacting to it, getting in range, and confirming. You know what that means? That since you're expecting me to confirm, because maybe, you're like, oh, he's really good, or he's been confirming a lot, and it's dominating me. I use that as a mix-up. You're like, you know what? They're not going to expect the troll. They're not going to be expecting me to fuck up. And at the same time, right, if I was to delay a button, and instead of going in with the throw at the end of the block stun or the hit stun, I would go in for something like such a 2H, you'll be counter hit as well. So... as stupid as that sound, I'm not taking the guaranteed conversion because I'm not comfortable with that. I still have to work on that. But I'm turning that weakness into a strength, because you will still have to guess at the end of the stagger unless you have a reversal, right?
Right.
Which, in your case, with your reversal, it would not even matter, because if I go for a throw, you do parry, you'll still lose.
Right.
And that's the bait. See? I threw the ball. I didn't even I was like, I'm not committing, because this is the situation. And this hit, once the parry is triggered, it's unblockable. So even if I bait and I'm still in range, I get punished. That's why I was the fuck out of here. Be like, okay, I'm good.
Okay, so this actually, before we unpause this, when you sent me all those VODs to watch, there was one situation that was very similar to this, where I think it was... I don't remember which Anji it was, but they were playing against a Kai, and the Kai was using, mid-screen fireballs, very classic Shoto stuff. And when he parried it, he pretty much flew half-screen to the Kai and started hitting him. And I was incredibly confused, so I was like, okay, well, if that's how it works against Kai, maybe it'll work the same way against the, I can't remember the name of all the sea animals, but the beach ball.
The sea lion, right?
Yeah. So I thought maybe it would push me far enough to get to you, and then I just didn't, because what happened against the Kai was the Kai ended up blocking it, but on block the super is -1, so it would get me incredibly close to you, which sort of shortens that gap that we have where it's like, well, if I start to approach, you know, am I going to eat a dolphin? Are you going to eat me, throw a 5K at me? So it shortens that range with I would say safe, but I mean -1 is pretty much just
it is safe.
Dead even.
Yeah, it's safe. We would have to look at their interaction. We will have to look at their interaction because I don't particularly remember it. I remember an interaction where I think it was against a Ram player, and I think it was Maka, where the Ram had a string into the sword, and they were like, say here, with sword thrown. Right. The sword triggered the parry, and they were like, okay, the parry is triggered, but I am able to block, except they didn't know it was unblockable, then go ahead. So that's where I learned. But we can look at that interaction specifically if we can find it. It's in the VODs anyway.
Okay.
I have to experiment with this because with other guard points, I don't know if it's the same for him, right? But with Potenkin, when he has the guard point, say in Hammerfall, and you hit him and then you use RRC, this breaks and you get a juggle. But I don't know about him, so I will have to check in training mode. Because this is what I tried to do, but I was late with the PRC instead of the RRC. Do you know the frame advantage there on the YRC?
I don't know the numbers. I just know that at that point it is my turn.
Yeah. So it depends pretty much on the range, but most of the time you are +10 here, so you can take your turn.
And I think I just do like /Fujin here.
Like Fujin would probably be a good option if you're thinking that they're going to block, because you know I know I'm -10. You can also run up grab, but it's a risk. So up to you what you want to take. That's when I said you're too aggressive, because on every like knockdown there is basically a recovery state, right? And once I'm recovered, if I choose the burst, oh boy, do I get all the reward in the world for it. Like, it's just incredible reward. So, like, if you watch, especially Maka, like, Maka is a fucking genius with bursting, with baiting all of the bursts. So, try, because, like, one thing that happens, right, which is very important as well to consider on a psychological level here. Fuck this thing again. Remember when we talked about the mental health bar, or like, you know, the sort of stress bar that you have? You were fairly stressed there, and you wanted to take what's it called, the Oki, and I knew you wanted to take the Oki because you lost like 3 interactions in a row, right? So this made you careless, like made you like reckless, which for me was great because I wanted all the reward in the world. Especially because you didn't have meter, especially because you didn't have burst, because then I can just bully you, right? Then from here I can just do like slide, which is hard to predict, and then you can convert into stuff, and also I can do like pretty much anything. So this is like also the inner thinking of like psychological stuff. How frustrated are them? Will they bait me? Will they have the strength to be like, okay, let them take their turn, so that option is out of the way, I punish, and then we start from there. I wonder if the throw is actually the way to go. I know it's less reward, but in a situation like that I would try and take the throw, because by the time you did I think Fujin, or you know, the standing
it was
HS,
a heavy slash.
Yeah, heavy slash. It was way too slow. So try and prioritize stuff that starts early, like quick.
So there, I also had the mental thought at the time of you were doing your 5K where you sort of kick out at me and then swing back. I thought that there was a chance where if I went for the grab, you would have spun around and no longer had your collision box in range to grab. And I would have just whiffed a grab in front of you and then gotten punished by whatever button. So I should have gone for a close slash because that's much faster than the heavy slash, but I think
I'm also thinking that like it is incredibly good for somebody that is learning the game to think at such a high level, right? Because you are thinking very high level, like collision boxes and recoil, all of that. Great that you are, but try and keep it a little bit lower at the moment, because you don't have at the moment, right? I'm not saying that you don't have it in general, but you don't have that ability right now to process all of this and assess all of this correctly. Right. So learning is in leaps and bounds. Sometimes you might learn like incredibly advanced things in an instant, and sometimes it will take you a long time to grasp basic concepts. So try and make it easy for you. Try and make it enjoyable, because if you think at this high level a lot of the time and it doesn't work because you miss some like practicality or whatever, it would just make you bitter. So try and like take small steps. It's easier for your learning. You have all the capabilities. Like I can see that you can go far for your thinking, but try and make it easy for yourself. Because as you've seen, I don't have the best conversions. Have you seen like how much damage I leave on the table? If you look at other mains, they have like these incredible long combos. I mostly dominated neutral, even in tournament. So you know, like we all have shortcomings. Try and make it easy for yourself to learn. See, that's a double mix-up. Now I have, like you were doing great with blocking, I've expired my meter, I've used my meter, but the momentum is still mine. Just out of range. Yeah, I was way too early to up dolphin that. So there, remember what I told you that I prioritized the mix-up here, and that's why I jumped. On the RRC button, I don't remember which one the button was, you put me in block stun, right?
Right.
The low will come more likely like in, I don't know if it's like 5, 6, 7 frames, I don't know what your faster low is. And I have a protection from the block stun, right, of the throw. From the block stun on the throw, so you cannot throw me first. The only thing that you can do that is fast enough is the low to open me up. So the succession of this mix-up route will be low, throw, because you have to, like, this is 2 frames. So in another situation, this would have been the first to worry about, say if I was outside block stun already, because this is the faster option. But this is sort of gate kept by the block stun that has to expire, which I think on I don't remember where you took it from, like where the block stun came from, but whatever it was fairly chunky.
It was I did Fujin into the overhead rin, and it's -16 on block, but I don't know as far as block stun.
Yeah,
how much it has.
I think on RRC would be chunky, but chunky enough to make this the faster option. So the succession would be low, throw, and then high, because your standing overheads are all like slow, right? Even like the dust will be, I don't know if it's universal at 20 frames, but something like that. So this is why I was able to block low and then jump your throw. It's not because I'm reading your mind. It's not because I know what you're gonna do. I'm just prioritizing by logic. And this is like hard to understand when you don't have experience, but you can learn it. It takes a while, but it helps you a lot. That, unfortunate, was a bad burst. Do you know why? Because you could punish that slide. I have nothing to cover it. Like, that was a reckless slide. And of course you don't know the matchup. We'll look into it. But actually, check slide punishes. But yeah, you didn't have to take the resource, basically. That was pretty cool. Yeah, that's the problem. See, when I told you go for the throw, is for standing stuff, right? If you like twirl through a 5k, a 5s, like a 5s or whatever. Unfortunately, on the dolphin, I'm airborne. And that's what happened. You tried to grab, which would have been the right choice if I was standing. But unfortunately, I was airborne. So you went to grab, and I was still hadn't recovered.
And that's partially, I think, just a character knowledge check.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Slap.
I mean, there I just run into the dolphin.
Uh-huh. And
sometimes you just run into a projectile.
yeah, it happens. And that is also the reason why she can dolphin soul full screen unblockable grab, because she's not grounded. So she can just like react dolphin, which is funny.
So against, I'm trying to remember the name. It's Soul's one command grab. I think it's like Mob Cemetery or something. Are you able to just? I know he can eat the hit with the infinite armor of the dolphin, but can he grab you after the dolphin hits?
No, because I will be in this position, right? Even if he hits with the armor, this is what Mei does. So like, how are you going to grab that with all this like recovery in the air? So most likely no. I don't see a situation where that will happen. Like
it was just a random thought.
Yeah, no.
I couldn't think of another command grab that what I guess like maybe Chip would be another example of a character with a longer range command grab, or like I don't know how far Kara Potemkin Buster goes, but it just like as examples of ranged command grabs.
Yeah. So in a situation, for example, on the Kara Potemkin Buster, I am -5 there. Right? Which means that I will take 5 frames to recover, and then I can do whatever I want. Unfortunately for Potemkin, Buster is 6 frames. And Kara Buster will need some frames to go into Kara. So whether it's 7, 8, I don't know how many frames you take for the Kara, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for me. The only thing that could happen with the Chip command grab, say... No, but the fact is, right, if a Chip was here and the dolphin misses, I don't really go airborne anymore. Like, I have no recovery almost. Like, I don't know if it's like 2 frames, 3 frames. So, unless for whatever magic he does the command grab early enough for it to be active when I'm recovering for like those 2 frames that I'm not hitting him, I don't think so. So I would say it's totally unpunishable.
It was just a random thought, not particularly related
That's
to the
fine.
session.
It's good to check your thinking, because those are the processes that will help you to assess situations at high speed in fighting games. Yeah, and that's when I started to try and adapt to the twirling. You've seen I start to do running into grab. That was bad. That was a bad ball.
I dropped the conversion there, but
That's okay.
I at least am keeping up the pressure, and then I forget about the dolphin.
Okay, that I messed up, but if you do it like fast enough with the drift, she can actually get a front or back J2HS, you know, the anchor drop,
Right.
to go basically on one side or the other. So that's how you...
And is that an overhead?
Yeah, it is an overhead, especially because it's a jump and you're crouching. So,
Gotcha.
but yeah, it is.
Okay.
Just to make you aware. Very good. Okay, here, you did not recognize it, right? Or better, you probably not expecting my grab to whiff, I don't know. But if that happens, you have all the time in the world to run in and get a close-ass full conversion, rather than just the Fujin.
Okay.
But yeah, it's...
whiff grabs. Oh, go ahead.
No, it's not just the whiff grab, right? I'm not telling you, oh, if somebody whiff grabs at this, say, range, you can run in and punish them fully. It's the BRC that made it possible, because I was low down.
Okay.
Yeah, that was me being, like, messing it up, because I should have gone into throw there. There was no reason for me not to. Yeah, Okay, that is also like another thing that I covered my weakness with. 6k was horribly mistimed, right? But I had meter. So if I mistime the 6k and I mistime it so bad that it's actually recovered, I can use the meter to just set up a throw, because at that point nobody has advantage, right? And throws are 2 frames. So yeah. Okay, in this situation, fairly important, even like at higher life, to start using some of this meter to reduce the chip. Because the only reason that I will try and be confident with this amount of life is because I know that you're also low. But if you start FDing, not only you push me further, which gives you better chances at fighting, it will reduce the chip. So it makes it stressful for me.
And before you unpause, I know that in some cases, like in the case of Soul's far slash, where he just far slash, you don't want to FD that because it'll make him more plus, and therefore harder to punish. You want to just find a button that beats it. I wasn't sure if the Dolphin was similar, or if a lot of like your kicks or your slide were all in a similar situation where if I FD it, am I putting myself in a worse position? So I guess that's part of what I want to ask you now is there, in general versus May, is it just better to FD when guarding, or are there certain moves that you don't want to, in similar vein to Soul's far slash?
I would personally like FD most of her stuff, because you're pushing her away. You're pushing her away and resetting her at the range where her mix-ups are not true. Remember how we said outside from 6k and stand D range, like 5D range, she has no mix-up because her only low is a slide, like her only long range opener is a slide, and everything else is sort of a poke or dolphin pressure, right? So the way I see the game, personally, if you can push her back, you can start taking your ground back. You don't want to block against her for too long, because she will surprise you with like runs and things like that. Also, the more you walk forward, once again, you get more meter, which you're not too far from, say, a parry reversal or an extension, a BRC, a PRC, so that also comes into play. As far as super specific interactions, such as how much better or worse a Dolphin on FD or non-FD is, I don't personally know, I'm gonna be honest, but
Sure.
doesn't really matter that much, in my opinion, because you're basically doing -5. I don't think the frame data changes in, you know, the specific of a physical projectile. You would just push her back a little bit more, probably at the same frame. So whether I am -5 here or -5 here or here, my decision process doesn't really change.
Okay.
So yeah, it's mostly for you to reserve some of that life, if that makes sense. Yeah, like, see how much life you lost that you could have saved, aside from the hits, even like the balls and things like that.
Danger.
That was good. That was really good.
Duel 2. Let's rock.
One. And at the moment I'm trying to assess how the fuck am I dealing with that twirl.
Right.
So I am a little bit flustered, even though it doesn't seem like it. There's a 6p. Yeah.
And was that just another example of you assessing the low versus high versus
Yes.
grab, and you blocked for long enough for the low, and you said, well, now I can get out of here?
Well, no, there was assessment, but the assessment was different here. The assessment was, if I it is far enough, right? The butterfly like hit here, and I was in the corner.
Right.
But you specifically were somewhere like here, right? Which means that the only way, once again, to keep your pressure airtight is Fujin. But at that range, I can jump away from Fujin. I will be hit in the air, right? But you will not be able to full combo like you do when you're here, right?
Right.
So my thought process at that point was block the butterfly, jump back, because if he does Fujin, at worst I will take this hit and maybe the butterfly coming down on me, but he has no this one. He has no meter to extend. Right?
Right.
So in a situation where the same scenario would have happened, but you would have meter, that Fujin can be PRC extended into a full combo. In this situation, no.
And then just after that, I think I blew our seat away from you when you went for a run-up grab.
Yeah.
Nothing really
good.
came of it, I think, because I think I maybe like tried to run up to you and accidentally hit jump or something. I don't remember what exactly happened, but I mean, we're kind of in this position now where I'm dropping on you with a JH slash.
Yeah, that was good. Like, that was good. And another thing, where the backdash after BRC, the backdash after the BRC is better. Because if your BRC is too slow and you say try and grab, and I have common grab, you will be eaten. Because common grab has grab invincibility for whatever reason. Right? So the backdash gives you that little bit of time to think, see the whiff, and then come back in. Whether the throw sort of has to be a one and all decision, and if it works, it works.
There I was trying to 5k as a answer to the dolphin because it's very low committal.
Yeah, it is. You're right.
And I kind of just remembered it at the last minute.
It's fine. So there, see, that one is punishable, and I have no extension.
Okay.
Do you know why I stopped you there? Like, why I BRC there?
I assume in case I had picked like an aggressive option or a twirl. That way, if you see the twirl, you just run up and grab me.
No. In this case, I blew our seed because the ball made you minus, like made you in recovery. So I forced you to stay there. Like, if I use that meter there, you slow down, and you're already recovering, so that slowdown will add into it. So I basically froze you for a bit, right? There. Then I messed up because I didn't really open you up, but...
So it was a way...
Yeah, no, you are.
It was essentially just a way to take sort of an advantage that you already had and extend it to give yourself more time.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, too early for that. See how, like, this is good. It worked out for you. Okay, so great. But see how you just took, like, the most reckless shit ever because you just ate a burst. Like, you just run the whole thing, twirl the ear, and then press a button. And it's fine. It worked out. But see how we go back to the mental health state, and the reckless decisions are related to losing interactions.
Right.
So I'm not like reprimanding you for it. It's just to make you look at the other side as somebody that has just landed the burst and their opponent just did this. How can you exploit that, right? I wasn't ready for it.
Drop the conversion. So why did your grab not take me there?
I would have to see it. Probably because you were too far. It's usually just a matter of range, but I'll rewatch it. I just finished later.
So there, my 2D may have just pushed me back far enough because I thought I somehow crouched it, but I don't believe that that's a thing in this game.
After the Fujin, right, it's a bit hard to react, but if the glass shatters, right, and you and I have this amount of life, kill me.
Okay. How much time after the glass shatters do you have to input something?
Not a lot, but definitely enough. Like, I don't have
Okay.
the seconds or frames or whatever, unfortunately, but definitely enough.
I only ask because I know that Fujin is minus 16 on block, so on hit, obviously that's not the exact same. But I thought, well, I guess I didn't think in that instance because it just wasn't going through my mind. But if I use Fujin to splat you to the if I use
Sorry.
Fujin to splat you to the wall, you know, there is a long, basically like wind down. If I don't pick, I think one of the other Anjis called them the outcomes of the Fujin.
Yeah,
Or like the follow-ups.
Yeah, it's
So,
like a Rekka. It's basically like a Rekka,
yeah.
right? Where you have the different options. It's a multi-layer Rekka. But what you need to remember is that yes, like then you'll have the delay, blah blah blah. But your Fujin in this situation was on hit. You don't really have a risk unless you mess up the cancel, right?
The input.
With
Right.
on block, you're minus 16, so you have to worry about what am I going to do after. But on hit, especially if you are able to react to the glass shatter, oh boy, you have time. You have a lot of time to react to it. Anyway, let's go back. Unfortunate to miss this shot.
Excellent pause shot. By the way.
Yeah, I think there I could have punished you. Right, as soon as I realized that I was out of range, I could have done jump, instant forward dash into button, but I was scared the fuck out. It's like I'm not taking that. I'm not taking that bait, like that gamble, because it's a bit too much.
So I also wasn't sure with the positive edge giving me essentially free meter for doing nothing. I wasn't sure if during the animation of the super, if it would have given me enough to Roman cancel the super. And then, oh, well, the super didn't hit you. I could Roman cancel it to be safe. And then that way, if you're trying to pressure me, you know, like purple RC dash backwards or something. But it ended up not mattering because you just took the space that
Getting
you're comfortable
out.
with. And that way you can continue your game plan and try to chip me down.
Yeah, one
Which
thing
is
that I
fine.
want to say is I don't know 100% about this game. This is something we can check. But semi-universally, when a super, an install, a max conversion in KOF, you know, when you're using meter, usually you don't get meter back. Unless it's like something like, unless the meter is segmented. Like, you know, in Street Fighter 4, you have 4 EX moves, and then you do a long combo, then you start getting meter again. But usually you don't. We'll check with GG. So,
Okay.
can you build meter in super animation? Also, I like how you're a fucking brainiac, because I would have never thought about that. Love it. Let's go. Ooh, what a pickup! What a pickup! What a pickup! That was sick. That was sick. Really, really good.
Honestly, the only reason I Roman canceled it is because I was scared that I wouldn't get the conversion on the way down. So I was like, I just want to make sure he is dead.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
I will take my first dub against this man.
kill the mammals, kill the dolphins. Okay, so which one was 3, 4, right? What a 4?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I think you can hold left trigger to show who won,
Okay.
and then that way you can just.
The left trigger will be LT, right? Yeah, there you
Right.
go.
So if you go to the
no.
one under that, it should say that I.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
since that was the one I
Yeah,
won,
yeah.
this would be the next one.
Cool. Good one. Thanks for teaching me that.
It was super useful when I was looking through my VODs against. I have a friend of mine who's a Celestial Zato player,
Oh, cool.
and learning how to block that character is a nuisance.
Duel
So
one.
going to see where I won versus where he won, it was helpful.
Before we go into this replay, I'm going to stop the recording and take another one,
Okay.
just to make it easier for me to upload. So